Welcome back. This is lesson 12.6, Measures of Center. I will be able to identify the three measures of center: mean, median, and mode. I will also be able to understand how each one shows where the center of the data is and what it means in real life. So vocabulary for this lesson: data, which we know is information gathered. Measure, center, mean, median, mode, and range we are going to add to our vocab page. So this is the second page of the Chapter 12 vocabulary. So measures of center is a single point, a single number used to represent where the typical, notice it's in parentheses, where the typical value in the data set would be located. Okay, the first one is mean. We talked about this in the last one when we talked about the three little pigs and the big mean wolf. Remember how he took all the berries and then divided it equally? So this is the mathematical average. Every animal got the exact same amount. That's how average works. Found by adding all the data values, and then dividing by the number of items in the data set. Most often used of the three. So the mean is the most commonly used measure of center, but sometimes they will use the median or the mode. The median is the middle number of a data set when in order. A lot of kids want to be lazy and they just find the middle of the numbers all scrambled up. They have to be in order from least to greatest to find it. If two values share the middle spot, then we find the average of those two values. The mode is the data value that repeats the most. In a data set, there is no mode if there is no repetition. So if nothing repeats, then there is no mode. There can also be more than one mode. Whatever repeats the most, if there's 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 things that share that spot, you can have more than one mode. So let's work with this example. So hours a week were spent reading. Okay, first thing I always want you to do with the data set is organize it. So we're going to put it in order from least to greatest over here. So it looks like my smallest number is 3. Then we have 4. We have another 4. We have a 5. Another 5. 6. 7. And an 8. Double check that you didn't miss anything. 1 3, 2 4s, 2 5s, a 6, a 7, and 8. 8 numbers here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 numbers here. The more data pieces you have, the more likely you are to mess up, just because you didn't pay attention and you missed one, or you accidentally repeated one when it wasn't repeated. So here is my number organized. Now I'm going to find the mean. So mean, we add them all up. So 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8. And then we're going to divide whatever we get from that by how many there are, and there are 8 in this group. We can go ahead and use our calculator. You could do this in your head as well, but the calculator is okay. So 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8. We end up with 42. So we've got 42 divided by 8. And 42 divided by 8 gives me 5.25. So the mean number of hours read, or the mathematical average, if we split it up and made everybody do the same exact thing, would be 5.25 hours. Alright, the median, in order from least to greatest. We've already done that, but I'm going to write it down here so you can see how the mean works in action. 6, 7, 8. Alright, I'm going to find the middle one. So those two, then I go to the next two, and the next two, and then looks like these two are sharing the middle spot. If they share the middle spot, we add them together, divide by 2. So 5 plus 5 divided by 2. 5 plus 5 is 10, and 10 divided by 2 is, well, wouldn't you look at that, 5. Okay, if the two same numbers share the middle spot, then you know that right in between the two of them is going to be the same number. But if not, let's say this was 7, I would have done 5 plus 7, gotten 12. 12 divided by 2 would give me 6. 6 would be in between 5 and 7, and that's how that would work. In this case, though, it's 5 right in the center. So 5 hours. Alright, the mode is the one that you see the most. So the most repeated. So it looks like we have 4 that repeats itself and 5 that repeats itself. So 4 and 5 are both considered modes. So 4 hours and 5 hours are the modes of this data set. So based on this, we can see that the typical student, or average, the typical student here, this one was at, if we split everything equally, 5.25 hours. Right in the middle was at 5, and 5 was also a repeat. So because of that, I dare say that the typical student reads 5 hours per week based on this information. Now the range. The range is the difference between the highest and lowest values in a data set. So from this example up here, our highest number was 8. Difference means subtract, minus our lowest number, which was 3. So in other words, this spans across 5 numbers. So the range is 5. Alright, let's go back to the other page. So there's a little song to help you remember the difference with these. Hopefully you all know Hey Diddle Diddle, the nursery rhyme. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon. Well, we're going to change the words just a little bit. So it's still hey diddle diddle. The median is the middle. The median is the middle. You add and divide for the mean. The mode is the one that you see the most. And the range is the distance in between. Alright, so first and always, put your data set in order from least to greatest before you do anything. It prevents a lot of the most common problems. Alright, so Javier weighed each fish that he caught in ounces. So 32, 27, 19, 38, 23, 24, and 29 ounces. So before I do anything, I'm going to put them in order from least to greatest. So 19 is the lowest one. Second lowest is 23. And 20, and cross them out so you don't accidentally reuse them. 24, next lowest. 27. 29. 32. And 38. So, have them in order from least to greatest. Now we can find the mean, median, and mode. So the mean, we add them all up first. And we're going to divide it by how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fish. Okay, let's go ahead and add those up. 19 plus 23 plus 24 plus 27 plus 29 plus 32 plus 38. We get a total of 192. We're going to divide that by 7. So we get a mean of 27.4 something something something. I'm going to round it to the nearest tenth and say about 27.4 ounces. Alright, the median is the one in the middle, so looking up here, we'll find the middle number. Since it's an odd number, it's going to have one number in the middle. So I just keep going till I find the middle number, which in this case is 27. So this has a median of 27 ounces. And the mode, we're looking for the one that repeats the most. In this case, we have no repetition, so there is no mode. So, what do these three measures tell us about the fish he caught? It seems that the typical fish was about 27 ounces. And we can see that from both the mean and the median. And there's very little repetition. And there is no repetition. Okay, Javier says his median is 38. What's his error? Why did Javier make this error? Well, it looks like 38 is the middle of this, but is that really the middle of the data? No, that's the highest one he has. So what error did he make? Javier didn't organize his data from least to greatest. Javier didn't organize his data from least to greatest first. That would make it look like his average fish was 38 ounces. And that's not the truth. Alright. Bailey measured the length in centimeters of 12 frogs for a science project. So first thing we want to do is put our stuff in order from least to greatest. So the smallest frog we have here, 4.5 looks to be the smallest. So write it down, cross it off. Next, I have a bunch of 0.5s but no 5s, so 6s. I have a 6. Any other 6s? No, I do have a 6.5. 7. 7.5, 7.5. No other 7, so I can go to the 7.5s now. We have 2 of those. Any other 7.5s? Nope. 8s. I got an 8.5. There's an 8 and there's an 8. So do my 8s first. There's 2 of those. 8.5. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3 9s. 2, 3. It looks like I've crossed out all of my data so far. Just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that means I got all my data. I didn't miss anything. So let's find the mean. I'm going to add it all up. So I'm just going to write sum because I don't want to write it all out. So I'm just going to add them all. Sum of those. And then we're going to divide by 12 because there are 12 frogs. So let's add up all these frogs. So 4.5 plus 6 plus 6.5 plus 7 plus 7.5 plus another 7.5 plus 2 8s, 8 plus 8 plus 8.5 plus 3 9s. So 9 plus 9 plus 9. And I get 90.5. Okay. If I'm going to make an error, it's going to be when I'm adding it up. So I always like to do it twice just to make sure I didn't miss something. Okay? So I'm going to do that one more time, especially when there's decimals involved, just to make sure I don't miss something. 6.5 plus 7 plus 7.5 plus another 7.5 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8.5 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. There's going to be an error, that's where it's going to be, and since I got the same number twice, I'm probably good. So I'm going to divide 90.5 by 12, and the average frog size, rounded to the nearest tenth, is going to be about 7.5. 7.5 inches. No, centimeters. Alright, the median. They're already in order up here. There's 12 of them, so I know there's going to be 2 sharing that middle spot. So I'm just going to go through. I like to mark them as I go. There's 1 set, 2 set to the middle, 3 sets to the middle, 4 sets to the middle, 5 sets to the middle, and these 2 are sharing that middle spot. Now remember, we can't find the median unless they're in order. Now we've got 2 fighting over that middle spot, so I've got to add them up and divide by 2. Because they're fighting over that middle spot, we're going to divide it up and make it even. So 7.5 plus 8, and then I'm going to divide that by 2, and that gets me 7.75. Centimeters. Now the mode, it looks to me like we have 3 9s, which is the most repeated. So 9 centimeters. We had some other repetition here with 7.5 and 8. However, that does not repeat more than the 9. So 9 is the mode. So what do these 3 measures tell us about the frog she measured? Well, the mean and median show the middle of the data is around 7.5-ish. But 9 repeats the most. Alright, Bailey said that the modes of the lengths are 7.5, 8, and 9. What is her error? Well, she did anything that repeated, but we need what repeated the most. So she listed all that repeated. Not just the most repeated. Alright, rate yourself on this. 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Take a picture and turn it in on Google Classroom.